After painting a room in my house recently, I was displeased with an uneven border between a white ceiling and a dark wall. I showed this border to a professional painter and asked her what I could have done better. She said, "Show me the brush you used." And I had to snatch it out of her hand before she pitched it into the trash. As it turned out, it was the tool I was using more than the technique that was the problem. Now you can use the techniques we're teaching on this tape with any camcorder and they will improve your video. However, better tools do make for better execution. Now in this segment, we'll answer the questions you might have about selecting the best camcorder for your jobs. To save the most money, stick to the analog formats. Those are VHS, VHS-C, 8mm, and High 8. If you want your tape to play back in your VCR, go with VHS-C or VHS. On the other hand, if you have a computer that has a FireWire jack on it, get Digital 8 or a DV camcorder. These will plug right into your computer, and incidentally, their picture quality is the highest. The automatic controls that come on all camcorders are fine for many shooting situations. However, there are many others in which they will deliver drifting focus and poor exposure. For your shots to stand out above the ordinary, you want a camcorder that has manual control over focus, iris, and shutter speed. Another important feature to look for is a headphone jack. This will allow you to monitor the quality of the sound that you're recording. And to record the best quality sound, you probably will want to use an external microphone. This means you need a camcorder with a microphone jack. The best thing you can do before buying a camera is to inform yourself about the various models that are available. And secondly, play with some cameras before you make a decision. Now the outlets available to you are retail stores, websites, and mail order companies. The main advantage of retail stores is that you can walk in there and try out some cameras before you decide. Now in department stores, you'll get very little help from salespeople, and the variety tends to be very small. In electronic stores, there are salespeople there that can help you, and the variety is wider. In specialty stores that sell cameras and camcorders, the salespeople tend to be the most knowledgeable, and they will have the greatest variety of cameras available. If you've already tried some cameras and you know the one you want, you may be able to get a really good deal on the web or through a mail order company. These tend to have the widest variety and can often get you any model that you want. Be careful to use reputable dealers and be aware that you do have to pay shipping and handling. You can get a new camcorder today for around $250. However, to use the techniques we're teaching on this tape, you can expect to spend at least around $800. That will give you the manual controls you need and some of the other features. From $800 to $2,500, you'll just get better picture quality and some fancier features. Above $2,500, you might be able to get a camcorder with 3 CCD imaging chips. This will give you better picture quality, and some of these higher-end cameras also have manual audio control. Don't get a camcorder unless it has manual iris, focus, and shutter speed control, a headphone jack, a microphone jack, a shoe for mounting microphones, lights, or little mixers, a standard screw mount for use with a tripod, a tape door that doesn't open at the bottom of the camcorder. And you can get all of these features on a camcorder today for less than $800. You need a good brush for painting. Get a good camcorder for shooting video.
When you look at the sheer number of buttons, toggles, and switches that are on a camcorder, it can be quite overwhelming. What we'd like to do in this segment is introduce you to some of those buttons and their functions and help eliminate the fear of using your camcorder. Let's start with the focus control. The default setting for most camcorders is for automatic focus control. The camera decides what's in focus and what's not, but it may not be what you want to have in focus. It can also cause some problems. The focus can drift. It's constantly readjusting what's actually in focus, and it can drain battery power. What you want to do is use your manual focus. It could be a focal ring or a focal knob, but your camera has it. The best way to use it is to zoom in all the way, focus, and then zoom out to frame your shot. The aperture, or the iris, is what controls the amount of light coming into the lens. You might use it if you're forced to shoot someone against a bright background. Try opening the iris up to expose for the face, rather than the background. Have you ever shot some footage where the color didn't turn out quite like you expected? You may need to take control of your white balance. White isn't always white. In fact, to your camera, a white card looks very different outside than it does in inside light. You need to calibrate your camera to the type of light you're shooting under. Your camera may have a manual white balance setting. It could be a button or a menu function. As you can see with our model, our colors are off. To adjust our white balance, we need to zoom in, frame on something white, press the button, watch as the camera calibrates, and then zoom out and frame our shot. If your camera doesn't have manual white balance, chances are it's got presets for indoor, outdoor, and fluorescent light. It's important to make sure you're using the right setting for the right lighting. Use your high-speed shutter to record fast action that you'd like to play back as slow motion or a series of stills. You might use it to record a tennis serve or analyze a batting stance. You might notice as your shutter speed increases, your picture gets darker. To compensate, adjust your iris to let in more light. Cameras that don't have manual control over shutter speed usually have a preset for recording fast action. Look for a setting called Sports. One feature you're probably already familiar with on your camcorder is the zoom control. It lets you adjust your shot from wide angle to telephoto. Your camera probably has an optical zoom and a digital zoom. While the digital zoom sounds really exciting, you're better off if you stay in the optical range. Once you get into the digital range, your picture tends to break down and look pixelated. For best results, turn the digital zoom off. Your camera probably has a whole host of digital video effects that you can apply while you're shooting. Posterization, black and white, sepia tone. It's important to keep in mind that if you use these while you're shooting, you're stuck with them. It may be better to apply those effects when you edit. Your camera's image stabilizer, whether optical or digital, can help stabilize somewhat shaky shots. Feel free to use it, but keep in mind the best way to stabilize an image is to use a tripod. These days, a lot of cameras have a still photo feature. This feature allows you to capture still images, either to tape or to some type of smart media card. You can upload these images to the web or attach them to email. Some higher-end cameras have manual audio control. Adjust the knobs and look at the levels to make sure you're getting a strong signal. Unfortunately, most consumer cameras don't have this feature. So don't be intimidated by the buttons on your camcorder. By learning how to use just a few simple operations, you can take greater control of the videos you create.